Hi, this is Ed Halpus. I'm here with Brother Ian Lum. We're at North Star Lodge number 23 in St. Cloud, Minnesota to make an education video for the Education Committee of the Grand Lodge of Minnesota. I wanted to mention to you today about 40 and 2000. Every Freemason knows to study the story that's related in Judges 1 through 4. And it tells about how Jephthah led the men of Gilead against the Ephraimites. The Ephraimites rebelled against Jephthah because he had not invited them to fight and share in the spoils of the war with the Ammonites. It tells how the victorious men of Gilead seized the fords of the Jordan River and intercepted the fleeing Ephraimites, who, attempting to cross back into their own land, denied their identity. They were required to pronounce a word which they invariably mispronounced. And this all took place in 1100 BCE. The Ephraimites who wanted to escape would simply claim not to be Ephraimites. The Gileadites discovered these impostors by having them pronounce a word that's written in the book of Hebrews, is written in the Hebrew text in the book of Judges, Judges 12:6. The word is written there as Sibboleth. The two dialects between the Ephraimites and the Gileadites had different pronunciations for the same word. That's not unusual even today for people who speak the same language but are from different locations within a country or neighboring countries to pronounce words differently. And this was very evident and significant during World War II when the Dutch resistance used a password that the Germans invariably pronounced different than the Dutch pronounced it. The Bible tells us that the Ephraimites were not able to pronounce a consonant that existed in the Gileadite dialect. And because of this, the Gileadites were able to detect the Ephraimites. And it's said that at the time of this battle that there fell 40 and 2,000 Ephraimites. Some have questioned if that really meant 42,000 or if it meant 2,040. However, the King James Version of the Bible just says 40 and 2,000. But the New International Version, the New Living Translation, the New American Standard Bible all use a total of 42,000. Now, knowing this is important because we don't really need to go down the wrong road to be debating about an exact number of fighters who were killed and wounded. Some biblical scholars tell us that the term 40 and 2,000 means 42,000. And so that's good enough for some of us. But, as I said, the exact number isn't all that important. In biblical times, it was difficult for them to determine how many were killed and wounded. It's even difficult today in the modern army to detect that. So what we need to look at is the symbology of the number 40 and 2,000. The number 40 is made up of two important numbers, 4 and 10. Because of this, the number 40 was considered sacred. Ancient philosophers considered the numbers 4 and 10 also significant. And this is why. The number 1 represents one God, the Creator. The number 2 is the passive principle, matter on which God, the active principle, acted. Number 3 represented the effect of the union of 1 and 2, and number 4 represents the arts and the sciences. The addition of the first 4 numbers will add up to 10. And 10 was the perfection of all things. It's accepted by metaphysical Bible scholars that the number 40 means sufficient, enough for completeness. Thus, when the story of Jephthah and the Ephraimites is told, and we read it in the Bible, the use of the number 40 and 2,000 simply means that there was sufficient number of the enemy killed and wounded for complete victory. One minister I know, when I asked him about the story in Judges 12, 1 through 4, and who was also a mathematician, reminded me that 42,000 is a multiple of 12. And 12 has a metaphysical meaning of fulfillment. So, according to him, what that meant was that 42,000 really meant it was complete and fulfilled. Enough for victory. So, there you have it. That's what it talks about for the 40 and 2000. I thought you might find that interesting. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.